And what kind of inquiry would you think was the right inquiry into this? They've talked of 2 inquiries so far.
I think
people are rather sceptical about inquiries, aren't they?
I think we'll end up with several inquiries. We've got one today through the IPCC into the conduct of the police. Clearly there will be, and we've agreed with the opposition, there should be a public inquiry. Right now, the important inquiry is...
Forgive me, Chris. Would you accept tonight, in front of this audience, that because of the relationship between politicians and the journalists, there needs to be a judge heading that inquiry that has the capacity to compel witnesses to appear before the inquiry? It's a very simple question, yes or no.
Including politicians.
Well, including politicians.
Yeah. David Cameron has said he will sit down with your leader, Ed Miliband, and agree what form that inquiry should take. Right now, the inquiry I'm concerned about is the police. And it may very well be...
We've got a question about
it. It may very well be a judge-led inquiry. Yeah. But let us sit down on a cross-party basis and decide what the best way to carry out the inquiry is. Look, there is going to be a full... There is going to be a proper public inquiry.
No, wait a minute. Can you answer?
The Prime Minister will sit down and agree what form that should take. But right now, we have the biggest police investigation in the country looking at this. What we must not do is take steps to dive straight into calling non-police inquiries in a way that may compromise the very real task, and I think the important task, of actually bringing the people responsible, not before judges in an inquiry, but actually before the courts.
How is it compromised to appoint a judge for an inquiry? How does it compromise the police?
Well, because if we start an inquiry now, while the police investigation is continuing, there is a risk that we end up compromising the police inquiry.
That's not true. I spoke to the ex-Attorney General yesterday, and he said that's absolutely not true. Those 2 things can always run concurrently. And my suspicion when you or David Cameron says let's wait till the police inquiry is over, is that what you're actually trying to do is push it into the long grass, get it down the road, hope that some other big news event comes along, and hey presto, I still got Murdoch on my side.
No, I want to ask Chris Grayling about. Chris, you've refused repeatedly, despite what Hugh asked you and Douglas Alexander and John, to say that there should be a judicial inquiry. And you say because there's going to be police inquiries and they've got to be completed first. Are you saying there can be no inquiry until the police inquiry is done? In other words, that it can be postponed for 5 years, beyond the next election, whenever?
Well,
when can an inquiry start, in your view?
I do not believe that we can be carrying out a judicial inquiry into the same issues of the same people simultaneously with the police inquiry.
What about any inquiry? What about an inquiry?
We're very clear. There is going to be a proper public inquiry into this.
When?
Well, as soon as possible. We'd like it to be as soon as possible. As soon as we can do so without compromising the police investigation.
So it could
I happen to believe it is important to bring those people responsible before the courts.